I've kind of been doing this Systech thing for a while, and I enjoy it, and I enjoy the logistics, and I enjoy, going to places where most people think, oh, this venue's traditionally sounded terrible, or shows in this country are terrible because all the sound companies are bad. And it's not that. A lot of it's just poor planning, making sure we've got the right amount of equipment for the show, making sure these guys are on the same page as me, and going in there and just, kicking ass and taking names, and, providing the best result with, in places that have been traditionally poor performance venues or environments for touring, logistics, or demanding acts like Linkin Park. A line array is directional energy, but as frequency decreases, the energy becomes less and less directional. So you kind of want to figure out the best vertical speaker placement to provide even coverage throughout the plane. Now, in this rig, we've got a main PA, which is 16 boxes of VTX, and we obviously optimize the inter-box angles to cover the top seat all the way to the front seat. But with this system, I have pit fills, if you see, and that allows us to kind of provide a transition between where the bottom box of the main hang covers to the front row. From the bottom box to the front row are covered by a different set of speakers that cover in there. So there's a whole issue with making sure that transition is smooth, and it's in lines. When you're hearing both sources, it sounds like the music, the show is coming from the stage, not from above you, and not one part is louder than the other. So that's coverage on the main hang. Behind that hang is flown subs. There's 16 aside, and that provides basically a low-end extension to the PA to make the left-right system sound more like a broadband studio monitor, if you will. It also provides a bunch of low energy to fire to the back of the room because it's coupling with energy coming off of the low-frequency drivers on the VTX. So you've got two 15s in the box, and then behind that you've got two 18s to support that, time-aligned to throw energy back there. That's the sub situation. It also provides excellent sub energy, I would say, from halfway from the 100 level all the way to the top. Because it's a line array and the 18-inch drivers are coupling, they sum and they usually cancel on the bottom, so the low frequency energy from those flown subs falls off as you get closer to the stage, hence why we have a bunch of ground subs. So the careful balance is to take the flown subs, time align them, and bandpass gain essentially to maximize and optimize coverage vertically and horizontally, because the flown sub hangs are essentially 70 feet apart. They create a power alley, and we want to mitigate that power alley with the ground sub array and minimize the power alley created by that array. Because the flown subs are in a line and they don't really spread energy directly below or off axis because it's the nature of a line array, we need to have other subsystems to kind of cover down there. So that's what the ground subs are for. And they also provide good horizontal coverage for the whole floor, the whole arena floor. Beyond that, we've got an aux hang. I call it aux hang, side fill. There's a bunch of different terms for the hang that covers 270 degrees off axis. That covers the sliver of seats that's from that corner all the way up to 45 degrees off axis of the stage. We have a second hang behind that that's covers 180 degrees off downstage edge to like a 270 coverage, allowing the promoter to sell these seats that aren't directly facing the stage, but they're still good sight lines and they're relatively close proximity-wise to the stage. All of these systems, especially the low frequency stuff, is optimized for a cardioid configuration, so a lot of the energy isn't going behind the stage because you don't want to have the band getting washed away by tons of low end, the same amount of energy the house needs to get. So one of the things I've been doing on this tour is running the 270, the side hang at a lower crossover frequency, so it's actually producing, it comes in about 30 hertz to provide a little more in time and coherent low frequency energy off axis of where all the sub arrays are placed. So that's kind of that's how I, and then obviously adjusting that so it's not providing destructive interference out here or anywhere else in the house. It's only in that sliver of seats that hang is covering. So by doing that, it basically cuts down on me having to hang more subs, because when you hang more subs, I'm not going to be able to hang enough of them to really isolate that cluster from the main cluster. So once you introduce a whole bunch of sub point sources, then you're going to deal with comb filtering. They need to be assessed with measurement and time alignment. And I think this is a happy compromise by having that one hang doing a lower, coming in at a lower frequency, lower crossover point. Now realize I can get away with that because that hang is the shortest throw of all the hangs. So we don't need to be maxing out the drivers, the amplifiers, the power scheme to produce 35 hertz, because it doesn't have to throw that energy as far. I like the VTX system. It doesn't distort like most PAs do when you get at a higher SPL, but at the same time it still has that kind of JBL 1K to 3K kind of crunchy sound when you get at an output level. It's good for rock and roll. It's good for what we need to have for the distorted guitars, whatnot. And for how small the box and how lightweight the box is, it packs a punch. As long as you have proper amplification, we can cover large arenas like this without the need for delays, and have really, really seamless coverage from the front row to the back row, and polar. When I say polar, I mean off axis. When you're going between the hangs, the coverage is really seamless because these boxes have a wide frequency response at 90 degrees off axis to the center of the box. So I noticed that is nice about them. Like I said, they're lightweight, they're super durable, and they have a lot of output, which is important for this show. It's a broadband rock show, and I think we're running at a level that's appropriate, but it's also asking a lot for a PA to have broadband frequency response 270 feet away, up there at at the top seat. The rigging's good. We're using the vertical transport carts on this tour, so they come in stacks of 4, and we're there's a little bit of a learning curve with that, but I think it allows for a lot of time saved and a lot of space considerations saved. We're not having to do the typical banana thing like the past products from JBL have required. The biggest thing is that somebody went through and I should say the engineers, I should say Paul Baumann, these guys are pivotal engineers that redesigned the topography of the loudspeaker. They're using a D2 compression driver, which provides higher output and disperses heat better, and it doesn't distort at high SPLs, and the box is designed to stay linear at high SPLs. They've minimized some of the throat distortion where the mid-range drivers, there's 4 8-inch drivers, how waveforms are summing and canceling inside the actual horn piece. That's all redesigned, and that was a big problem that I had with, I shouldn't say problem, that's something that's just a fact with the Vertec, but at the time, that was a top of the line box. This is a revision of that, and I think, frequency response wise and level wise and linearity at high output levels, we're looking at a huge improvement. I'll use the word precision audio. We're going to come in and we're going to hang boxes exactly where the sound needs to be, and we're going to make sure level is appropriate, make sure we're paying very close attention to how things are time aligned, standing wave, RT60 analysis to listen to what frequencies are falling off, making adjustments so all frequencies are falling off equally, and turning things down. That's a lot of things that I kind of pride myself in is, all right, well, we're going to have, it looks like a lot of speakers, but all those speakers are seamless coverage and turned way down. Last night, there was literally, the side hang was literally 15 feet away from the seats. Those people had a great show because the speakers are right there. It's super, super intelligibility. and they're not getting their faces melted off by a speaker that has the potential to be very, very loud at a close distance. Just in analyzing all that and trying to find the best speaker placement. And on a side note to that, it's important too to just have a plan with rigging and where we can place stuff and what our options are to, maximize intelligibility, with that system.